Hello and welcome to Healthy Knitting. My name is Rosie. Today is December 15th, 2014. It is Monday morning. You can find me on Ravelry as LESPETITSLUXCS. There's also a Ravelry group called Healthy Knitting, and there's a WordPress site, which I think is healthyknitting.wordpress.com, which I don't write show notes, but you can find episodes there. So maybe one day I will get to show notes, and I feel really bad because I did find my iPad. Last week I had no idea where it was. Well, it was buried under a bunch of things, and I found it, but I didn't plug it in. So I have it plugged in, and I can't actually make it go right now, so I'm waiting for it to charge. So I might not be able to show you some of the project pages that I'm working on, but I did pull them up so I can actually tell you about them on my computer. Excuse me, all of a sudden my voice got a little hoarse. So, how are you? I'm doing well. It's been a busy couple of weeks probably since I talked to you. I was going to record last weekend and something came up. So, I have been busy knitting though and not spinning, so there's no spinning to show you this week, unfortunately. I really want to finish that project, but you'll see the progress I got on my project will kind of show you where my time has been spent. So, let's get started with a few things. We're going to talk about new and good. I went to my family's holiday party Saturday night. That was really fun. Yeah, I stayed out too late. I didn't get home till after 1. It was great to see my family. Pretty much everybody was there. There's a few cousins that were missing. I mean, well, a few. There was a lot missing, but a good portion of the ones that I grew up very close to were there, so that was really nice. And, sorry, I'm just moving this screen a little bit, so I'm looking at you instead of over to the side of you. Oh, okay. Sorry, little timer. I have little things that tell me when I need to do things, and today is pay my car insurance day. So, oh goodness, I need to put these over here too. I have lots of stuff all over, but I am sort of organized. So anyway, the holiday party was fun. I hope you are enjoying yourselves with holiday parties, and we're going to talk a little bit about that at the end with some healthy tips. What else was new and good? Oh, we had some really great art openings in Beacon. Karina's at my feet right now. I don't think she'll come up here to say hello, though. What else is new and good? I didn't prepare this part. Sorry. Oh, I can show you this. This is nice. This is a gift a friend gave to me, the one who made my earrings. She makes a lot of beautiful, amazing jewelry. Her name is Kay Ming. And this is Lake Como, if any of you know what Lake Como looks like. And this is a stone that came from Lake Como when she went with me 3 years ago and put this together. It's just so beautiful. So that was a nice gift from Kay Ming. She's very talented. My friends, I just love what they do. They're so amazing. And it's great to go in town. I've seen another one of my friends, I've worn her jewelry. She had 2 shows. Went to go see one on Saturday before I went to my cousin's house. And there was another place that she had her jewelry in town, another art opening with a man. Oh, there was a bunch of artists in there too. And there was a really beautiful photographer. He was not beautiful. His photography, well, I don't want to say that, but that's not what I meant by the word beautiful. His photography was absolutely stunning, really, really gorgeous. Caught the clouds really fantastic, and I love when photographs are really big, and his were quite large. They were beautiful. I don't have a lot of wall space. One day I will have a lot of wall space and I can display lots of artwork. But for right now, it's all taken up. Cynthia, okay, I don't know where I was because iMovie stopped frames and started working. But anyway, I was saying something about I don't have a lot of wall space. I have 3 big pieces from Cynthia, and that takes up most of my living room space. And there really isn't a lot anywhere else. Like you can see a little bit over there. That's a tiny bit on your way out of the room. And I have 5 little watercolors that I picked up in Italy one year when I was in Venice. They're absolutely beautiful. I love that. I love lots of different types of art. So I kind of have a mishmash of different types of things everywhere. But one day my goal is to have a house that has plenty of wall space so that I can display lots and lots of art. But I have a solution with some of Cynthia's newest things that I'll show you. Actually, let me just show you right now because they're sitting right here. She had this, found somebody who had this great idea of making these little minis. Are they adorable? So it's a Christmas ornament, and it tells a little bit about Cynthia on there. And you can hang them up on your tree. I actually am just going to leave these displayed all year because I love her work. This is another one that she worked on last 2 years ago. And the thing I love about Cynthia's work is you can turn it just about any which way, and it's still right. It's just a matter of taste of how you want to display the work, which is really cool. And this is one of her latest pieces too, which is really cool. So that's Cynthia McCusker, and I think I've showed you on previous podcasts, I've had 3 of her very large pieces, which are awesome. I would love to have more. Actually, I'd love to have just about all of my friends' artwork because they're all beautiful. Anyway, so what else did I want to share with you? That might be it for new and good. If I remember something as we're going along, I will keep you posted. The yarn sale is still going well. My stash is almost a quarter taken out, which is really good. But I still have a lot. I still have a lot more. There's a lot of stuff that I'm kind of like, oh, I really love that. Like, I really do like all of that over here, which I will show you because I'm working with some of it right now. So let's just get into that, and I'll review the yarn as we go as well. I'm still working on this scarf. I only work on it at knitting, but I did work on it last night because I didn't feel like working on the coat because I was so tired. I don't know about you, but if I miss sleep, I do. Oh, goodness, that's what I can talk to you about. So I missed a little bit of sleep this past week from last Friday. The cats were making noise, then I had raccoons, then I had squirrels in my attic, and I didn't get a full night's sleep. Like, every time I went to go to sleep, there was a squirrel scratching behind my fireplace, and I have wood there, like big pieces of wood, so, and it's not paneling, so if they screwed it up, I'd have to have somebody find that type of wood, replace the wood, then make sure it had the same finish to match everything else, or I'd have to redo the whole thing. And I'm not really, excuse me, in a place where I feel like doing a lot of work to something that doesn't need to be done and wasting wood when the squirrel didn't need to be doing that. So I don't even know how they... Sorry, now all of a sudden my iPad is initiating iPhoto to big screen. Sorry. I think it's finally charged now. So maybe I'll pause and then I can actually get the things loaded on here so I can show you the pictures. But let me just tell you about the squirrels. So yeah, they were scratching and scratching and scratching. Now, I don't know if any of you have had squirrels in your house before, but they can actually break through sheetrock with their teeth. They're very, very strong teeth. I mean, sheetrock is not a very hard substance, but they will scratch right through it to get into your house. And they were scratching on the wood behind the fireplace. So I would bang on the fireplace and they would stop, and then I would go back to bed 15 minutes later, and I'm like, no, that was 2 days in a row. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I didn't get any sleep for those 2 days. And then the cats were doing funny noises. And then the next night, the squirrels were in the attic, and they're gone now. I don't know what happened, but they were in there for 2 days, keeping me awake. Yeah, it's been interesting. So finally, I actually, we'll talk about the holiday party again when we talk about holiday party, but I almost didn't go. If I didn't get enough sleep, there was no way I was going to drive an hour and visit with my family if I was extremely tired, because I didn't want to stay out late again when I was tired and drive home and put myself in a situation that wasn't good. So anyway, I'm going to pause here, pull up this stuff on my iPad. Let me just see if it's actually working. Yes. Okay, so let me pull that up and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So that was easy. I love that the iCloud can take what I have on my computer and my phone and just pull it up anywhere that I happen to be on, whatever machine, because then I didn't have to go searching for anything. So I do love that about the iProducts. I don't know, they probably can do that with the other ones, whatever they're called, Android. Sorry, lost my brain there a little bit. Okay, so anyway, this scarf that I've been working on for quite a while now is called the Chevron Scarf, and it is by Brenda of Molecular Knitting. And I'm using hand spun that I spun from Chris from Into the World. I have this much left, which is, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it kind of is. I weighed it before and I was half done, so I'm probably like two-thirds. Oh, we had some drop frames. So I am using Hiya needles. These are not the sharps, these are the regular. This is a brand new cord that I bought because I broke my last one. These are size 2, and this is not a very good join. Things catch on here. I don't know if you can even see it. Can you see how it's not quite right? You probably can't. But there's a bump there, and so everything is catching, so I'm not happy with that. I was going to try the ChiaoGoo's, and then I never got around to it, and I just never got around to it. So I will stick with these for a while, although I would, sometimes the cords, I break the cords a lot because I knit, if I'm knitting too much like this, they bend and then they really just don't, they don't have the give. Like, I don't know if any of you have worked with signature needles, but the cord, I like the cord in that way that it doesn't bunch up and everything like that, but it's not hard enough to actually make things slide well if it is looped around back there. Like, you really have to push stuff. When it has a little bit of body, to me, I like that kind of cord better because it's not so floppy. But this one definitely, you can see how it's catching. You can even hear it. Yeah, not so good. So I don't know, I might, this side's fine. I might have to get another cord. So anyway, here's my scarf. And when I spun this, I actually wanted color changes that were mixed and not just solid color changes. So there's a lot of barber pulling. This is a 2-ply, and it's fingering weight. And I can't wait to finish. I think it's going to look really nice when it's blocked out. And like I said, I'm not sure if I'm keeping it for me. There's a couple people who admired it during knitting. I don't know. We'll see. I have so much stuff already of my own, I don't know if I need any more. I've been wearing my things lately because my rule now is that if I don't wear it, I don't keep it, and it gets given away to somebody else. So, what else did I work on? Last week, 2 weeks ago, you saw me working on this hat, and I didn't, sorry, almost wasn't able to show it to you. Wait, sorry. There we go. The Opus Spectactum hat by Kate Gagnon Osborne. And I said something silly like, oh, I think it's a chevron. Well, what I just showed you was a chevron. This is not a chevron. It is color work. I have not done color work in years. I made a color work hat for a friend of mine for his wife for a Christmas present when I was living in Vermont. Like, oh my gosh, 20 years ago? No. Yeah, maybe 20 years ago. How old is his daughter? Yeah, could be 20 years ago. So I hadn't done it in all that time, and I actually loved making this. I couldn't put it down. I did actually get to about halfway, and I had to go to sleep. And I was like, first thing I did in the morning when I woke up is I finished the hat. I couldn't wait to work on this. This was so much fun. I started stranding, flipping the yarns underneath each other so that there would be consistency, and I found that all the yarn was getting tangled and wrapped around, and I thought that was a really bad idea. So then I split it, and I knit one side, the main color with my left hand and the contrasting color with my right hand, and I just did it that way, and it worked out fine. I was able to keep consistency so that there was no pulling anywhere, and I did block it, but I didn't block it over a plate. And most people wear this kind of like beret style, but I didn't block it like that. So let me put it on. And my hair is growing out, as you can tell, and I'm actually growing it out right now, so things are looking a little weird, but I do love it. I love how warm it is. Absolutely super fantastic. And the yarn I used for that was Dolce, Cascade Yarns Dolce, which is discontinued. I have sold some, but I think I'm going to keep the ones that I have. I have 10 skeins of red, 10 skeins of like a light green color, not a light green color, but it's not a dark green. I sold the dark green, I had dark green, and the chocolate color. And I actually had that designated to make a wrap, and I might still make the chocolate and that light color into a wrap. It's in the other room still. I don't have room to put it in here. Something else has to go if I'm going to keep it. And the red's beautiful too. The only thing is that the colors did bleed when I blocked it. And quite a lot. Like, I don't know if it was it might have been the green. This is kind of like a teal color. It might have been the teal. It might have been a lot of the black. I know black is a hard color and tends to bleed a lot. So we'll see what happens. But it didn't taint the color. So I don't think that it was, I just think it might have been extra dye that didn't come out. And so it didn't fade anything. It's still in good shape. And the color is nice, and they didn't commingle and dull out the teal color. So I highly recommend this hat if any of you are getting into stranded, because it's simple to understand, it's simple to read. Had I put I use double points. I didn't use circulars for this. I use double points. Had I put the right amount of stitches for the pattern repeat on the needles, I think that would have been a big help, because I wound up doing that for the crown decreases, which made it super easy, because there were a couple times when I got all the way around and I realized I had messed up and I had to tink back a whole round. And honestly, that's not so much fun with stranded. I actually wound up making a mistake somewhere. I don't know where it is, so I just added a stitch where I thought it should go, and it worked out fine. You can't see anything wrong. It's all looks fine. And also checking to make sure that, oh, there's a bird that, oh, hello! A female cardinal is right outside my window. She's got a seed from where, I don't know what. Now she's breaking down the windowsill. That was nice. They do come around, and I've noticed what they do. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but you know how the spiders put their little webs in the corners of the outsides of the windows? They're one of my favorite types of spider. I can't remember what they're called, but excuse me. They're not very big, but they have like the big body, and their legs are normal size. They don't ever get really huge. So they're so sweet, and they make those little sacks where the babies come out. Anyway, they're super sweet. I love them, and they sometimes put their nest there, and the birds will come and they'll eat the spiders. I've always wondered what happens to the spiders that are outside in the winter. If anybody knows, please let me know. I should probably just look it up. But I've always wondered. Sometimes I'll bring the egg. Yeah, you really don't want to know this, but I love spiders, and I'll bring the sacks in and let them hatch the rest of the way, and then I'll have little spiders everywhere. They don't bother anything, and they're good because they eat the bugs, and I'm sure I'm taking away food from birds now. So anyway, yes, I am a little strange in that I love spiders and I think they're cute. But that's just the way it is. I used to hate them when I was little. My dad would never kill them. I'd be like screaming, "Oh, there's a spider!" And he was like, "It's not hurting anything. It's not bothering you." And so I had a little stare down with the spider, and I'm like, okay. And I kind of got over that fear of spiders right then and there. So anyway, I'm weird. So Dolce yarn, I really like it. You can't really get it anymore unless you get it from a D-stash, because it's not for sale anymore, but the yarn is super, super soft. It is a worsted weight alpaca silk and wool mix, and I really like it. So that's a 2 thumbs up. This hat is a free pattern on Ravelry, and like I said, super easy. If I have not done color work in 10 million years and I was able to do this no problem, you can too. Super simple. So anyway, I am a bit addicted now to the color work, and I picked out some projects for some yarn for a project that I'd like to make called the Inspira Cowl. I don't know if any of you have seen this. I don't know how I missed it. Oops, hang on. Oh my goodness. Okay, and there's a bit of glare. I think that's not so bad. And let me pull it up a little bit so you can see. So, that's not what I meant to do. Hang on. It uses corrugated ribbing, stranded, and it's in the round. There are 3 different styles to choose from. And I know this was not even on my list. It was not even in my queue. It wasn't even on my radar, but I think I started looking for stranded weight something or other, and that cowl came up in a search. And holy cow, have a look, because if you have Noro, it makes it really easy for the color shifts. I don't have Noro that I want to use for that, but I do have Plymouth Yarn Gina. Oh, you're going to stop again, aren't you? No, okay. Plymouth Yarn Gina, and this is color number 14. Really says a lot. It's plums and some purple and a little bit of like a rust color in there. Very similar to Noro. It's a single ply. And I also have this yarn, which is Fiesta. I think this is a worsted weight. I'm pretty sure. Yes, worsted. This is Fiesta Yarns Natural Wool, and I did have it for sale, but I pulled it out because look at how nice that's going to go with that. You need a contrast color to pop out the other colors, but it's a green, and this has green in it, and green goes with purple, and it will go with the rust, and it will look really, really good. I didn't want too contrasting of a light color. I didn't have anything else, and this is also a single ply, so it's the same type of wool, so it should work out really well. I just haven't had any time to really figure out which one I want to make, because like I said, there's 3. One has a braid to it, and the other ones don't. One's a little bit bigger. I kind of don't like too much of a floppy cowl here. I like my neck to be really warm, so I would definitely make it smaller here and then more slouchy, and I would probably just change the needle size, which I think is either called for in the pattern or some people have done. I haven't had a chance to really research. There's so many patterns that are done, and if you want a little eye candy, have a look at that. And since I have the little stranded bug, I think once I start that, I'm just gonna finish it because it's gonna be so much fun to make. And yes, I still have in the queue those hat and mittens set by Martina Bem, the hitch hat and the hitch mittens, but I haven't even looked at that yet. The yarn is wound in a ball though, so I'm ready to go there. I just haven't gotten anything else done because I have been working on the global coat, and I can show you a picture of that now. And this is by Jennifer Hagen, or Hagen. And it's a nice length coat. I already have 2 coats that are this length. One came from my mom when I took some of her clothes. And I have another one. Oh, the other one I made myself as well. So once I finish this one, I am going to wash and donate the one that I had from my mom. And I told you last time when we talked that I might not continue because the cables, I couldn't see them popping up. Well, they do show up. They show up just fine. So this is the bottom half. I've split off for the arms now, so that's how long it is. So it's about just below my hips, well, just below my butt is pretty much where it comes down to, so it can keep my butt warm. It doesn't technically close all the way. As you can see, there's a different type of closure there that they use, which is fine because this is going to be more of like something I wear in the house or out when it's not really cold. I have a really nice winter coat that my friend Susie gave me in Italy, and I actually brought it home. And I can't even see where you'd need to wear it up there because it's not that cold there, but it's cold here, so that's why I took it with me. She gave me a couple other nice coats that are more for the weather there than what I would be needing there because it doesn't really get cold. It doesn't even really snow there. I mean, unless I was going to someplace really cold, and I'll definitely bring the coat in case I go to Switzerland or go in the mountains or something, then I would need it. But really, it's it's warm there. It's been beautiful. Weather's like 60. Not here. It hasn't really been all that cold here, so I can't say, but we have had a little bit of snow here and there. Nothing really frigid like Vermont, where I used to live. Hasn't been below 0 at all, but it's still chilly. Oh, good news. I've been able to put the house at 60 and it stays there. It's fine. I have this on and a shirt, and I'm pretty much comfortable. So I'm very happy that my internal temperature somebody's playing, has managed to increase up past 95. So anyway, the global coat, once you get going on this cable, it's so easy. The only thing that I keep track of is just where I am, because I have to now keep track of where I start when I redo these, when I introduce the sides, because I have to go back up the cables. But you don't, it's a 12 pattern repeat. This is not a free pattern, it's a paid for pattern, but it's a 12 row repeat. And it's super easy, and I'm not using a cable needle. It's so simple not to use a cable needle. If you have ever not tried that, please go look up on YouTube. There's videos galore on how to cable without a cable needle. It is so much faster, so much faster. I would never even consider knitting something like this with a cable needle. It would slow me down incredibly. This is a very fast pattern to knit because the cable is very easy to see and tell you where you're at. It's very, very easy. Yeah, so there we go. I should be able to finish this really soon. How you do this is you do the front and the shoulders, and then you 3 needle bind off, and then you pick up and you work down for the sleeves, which is great because I think I'm going to make my sleeves a little bit longer than what's called for in the pattern. Just a tiny bit. I think they come up to here, and I definitely, we've talked about sleeves before. I like my sleeves long because I like to keep myself comfortable, and they're not a narrow sleeve either. They're kind of like a straight sleeve. They don't bell out, but when you don't decrease, that actually kind of makes a little bit of a bell in a sleeve. So just keeping it a little bit lower on my hand is kind of where I like it. So anyway, so that's working out really well. I'm on this is the 4th ball. That's what I have left of the 4th ball that I've started. So great yardage on this. This is Kathmandu Chunky. I'm using a size 8 needle. Hang on, where am I? And I love this yarn. Now, I haven't worked with the worsted yet, which I have quite a bit of up there. All here. That's Kathmandu Chunky, or Kathmandu Aran Weight. So I don't know what size needle I'm going to use for the Aran Weight if I'm using an 8 for the Chunky. It doesn't, there's a couple places that feel a little chunky. To me, this feels more like an Aran Weight. So I have not worked with the other one. It is gorgeous yarn. If you can get your hands on this, it's discontinued. So again, the only way you're going to be able to get it is in a D-stash, or if somebody has some randomly in a store. But you know, I think it all got closed out last year and I bought a lot of it. Excuse me. And I sold some of it, and the colors weren't my colors, so I did sell one that was my colors, but I already have like that fuchsia color. I had 2 fuchsias. They were different dye lots, and they were just, even the dye lots are like, I have a couple of the same color, but the dye lots are a little different. And I really just, I don't know, I can't get rid of those. I love those, and I have already plans for making many things with it because I think it's going to wash well as well. It has silk in it. Let me tell you what's in this yarn. It is 85 merino, 10% silk, and 5% cashmere. It feels really good. It feels like a super soft cotton, and I think that's because of the silk and the cashmere. And the merino might add a little bit of form to it to keep it, to hold its shape. But the cables look beautiful, I thought, right? They're showing up really nice. It's a very nice round yarn. And I think it's going to be really warm because obviously cashmere is really warm, silk is really warm, and merino is really warm. So even though it doesn't close up all the way, I think it's going to be a nice, super warm, comfy sweater that I am going to want to wear all the time, which is why I can give the other one away. I like that. I just need to keep only a few things. Don't need that much stuff. What else do I have going on? I think that's it for knitting. I showed you what I want to make. I told you about the other 2. Yep. Okay. So, and there's no spinning. So this will be a short show. Yay, because I'm sure you have lots of things to do. It's 10 days till Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas. And honestly, I don't even know when Hanukkah is. I didn't look. A lot of things aren't on my radar. I don't even really know. I mean, I know Christmas is on the 25th, obviously, but I didn't even know until yesterday what day it actually fell on because it's not in my radar. We just had a bunch of emails being sent around that we're thinking of doing our holiday party next Sunday. I am not ready. I am not ready for that, guys. Holy cow. So I'm going to have a lot of stuff to do. Hopefully they'll do it on Sunday so I can get things done on Saturday. So anyway, I want to talk about holidays. The holiday season's here. We're all going to parties, and that can be a lot of different types of eating that you're not normally used to. So I wanted to talk a little bit about holiday stress, how to get through a holiday party, and how to not go to a holiday party or family obligations if you don't want to. So, holiday stress. A lot of times we stress ourselves out with we're not getting enough done, we've got so much to do. We kind of miss out on the whole point of holiday spirit. And the holiday spirit is to have a loving time with your friends and family. So please don't stress out that your house is not perfect or your decorations aren't all the way you want them to be, or you didn't get the one thing for that one thing for the person that you were trying to get and you couldn't get, and you're just stressing out. You didn't make your gifts on time. Like I still haven't made my gifts, so I'm not going to stress on it if it doesn't happen by the time Christmas comes. There's always Russian Christmas, which is the week after Christmas. And you can just give someone a gift then and just put the little note that, you know, what you are planning on doing for them. Even just an I love you and a hug is really a lovely gift for someone. So don't stress over holiday stuff. Holiday parties. Some tips for holiday parties. If you have certain dietary restrictions, don't feel guilty if you don't go and eat the food that's provided. You can eat ahead of time and then just go and socialize. If you are not drinking, you can have water and have water in a fancy glass. And I do recommend that if you are drinking alcohol to switch every drink from an alcoholic drink to a glass of water. That really cuts down on the alcohol. It will rehydrate you so that you don't drink too much alcohol. and you won't have a hangover the next day if you have a 1-for-1. Oh, look who's here. Hello. But he says he never has hangovers. He never has a hangover. But he's still being a bad boy, by the way. I have tried everything. I don't know what to do to stop the behavior. I have brought him in here when he starts crying in the morning. I have kept him in here all night, and there's still messes on the floor. So I don't really know. But he will use the box when I'm in here. It's really interesting, right, buddy? But I love you anyway. Okay, this side's cuter to look at, buddy. So the other thing I wanted to talk about in the holiday parties is you can try getting a small plate. Instead of a large plate, you can do the smaller plates. That's really helpful so that you don't overindulge when you're at a party. You can fill up your plate with more vegetables than anything else. Like fried foods are really not that healthy. There might be some salad snacks for you there, some vegetables. It's always good to fill up more on that type of food. And if you are very hungry and you are headed to the party, have a little snack before you go. This way you're not starving and you are over your, because there's so much different things to try. You want to try everything and you fill up the big, huge plate and then you're really super stuffed. Try to eat a little snack before you go. I don't know if you can see this, but he does this little hand thing and he puts his hands all over my face, which sometimes can be gross. But we love Buddy. So after you eat, if there's no fruit and there's lots of lovely snacky things like desserts and pies and cakes and candies and all that kind of stuff, see if you can split something with someone or cut a small piece instead of taking the whole big piece of whatever it is. And you can have a little bite of something and feel like, oh, I've tried it, but I don't need to eat the whole thing. And this way you didn't waste it and throw it out, but you just asked somebody to slice you small pieces or split a piece with someone else. If you have certain dietary restrictions, please don't feel obligated to eat something that you can't eat. And I know it's really hard if it's something that's a voluntary, but usually if it's voluntary, there's a good reason for sticking with that diet. Like, I can't have gluten anymore. And my family, they know this, but sometimes they forget what really is in gluten. And so instead of having to make somebody make something special for you, just say you're fine and pick around and find the things that you can eat. And if there isn't anything for you to eat, just don't fret. Like, I eat something before you go. You can make sure that you do have something so you're not really starving. And drinking water is actually a good way to feel full. And you don't have to drink a lot of alcohol and wind up getting really tipsy because you didn't have anything to eat. So don't forget to drink the water. So I hope you have fun at your holiday parties and you get through everything with love and joy and peace and grace. And he's so cute. Let's talk about holiday stress and obligations, because a lot of times we feel like we're obligated to do certain things, like I have to go to that party, I have to do this, I have to do that, when quite honestly you always have a choice. The choice is yours to say, yes, I want to do something, or no, I don't want to do something. Make your life simple and make the choice that works for you. If you decide to go to the... I think we're going to lose frames. Okay. If you decide to go to a party that you didn't really want to go to, please go with the intention that you are going to A, have fun, B, visit with the people who you wanted to talk to, and make it your choice to go, but have a good intention on what it is you want to do before you get there. And that will help you out to make you feel like, yes, I am going for a reason. If you don't want to go, don't go. Don't make anybody make you feel guilty for not going. Ow, that's my ear. Going to something that you didn't want to do. Life is too short. And if somebody gets mad at you because they didn't like your decision, that's their decision to be mad and not yours. There's only so much things that we can control, and we can only control how we feel. We can't control how someone else's feels. That's their responsibility. And hopefully they will get over it. If not, we can't live our lives for other people. So do what makes you feel happy. And if you feel like you want to go, and it's not always something that you want to do everything of, just set an intention to have a good time. Like, I love fun, so I set an intention for fun. Oh, which is, by the way, so the holiday party, I actually, my holiday party had an RSVP, and I was like, I hope you don't mind, but I can't really make that decision until that day. And they were fine with that. Not always can we fit the rules and regulations of someone else either, and if they have a problem with that, then uninvite yourself, because it's okay. And my family was perfectly fine with me making that decision last minute, which was great. And I got a good night's sleep. There was no squirrels. There was no cats. Buddy, isn't he a love? There were no squirrels, no cats. Nobody woke me up, and I slept really well, and I was able to stay up past midnight, and I got home at a little after 1, which was still way too late for me. I have been going to bed early. I've been really trying to go to bed early, but getting woken up in the middle of the night. Sleep is very important for me. I don't heal if I'm not sleeping. I can't take care of myself well if I don't sleep. And so it is a big priority for me. And if I, that's just the way it is. Set your priorities and work around them. If people can't adjust to that, then it's not your doing. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And I'm not sure if I'll see you before then. Maybe before then. I don't know. It's 10 days away. Weekends don't seem to work out for me to record. There's just too much going on. It's my downtime. So it is early on Monday, and that seems to work out if I can get things done before I have to get off and running. So anyway, if I don't see you, have a happy holiday season to whatever it is that you celebrate, because I think there are lots of ones, and I don't know what all of them are. And Happy New Year if I miss you for New Year's. Like I said, I don't know when I'm going to record. I am not going out for New Year's, but I am going to my family's, 2 different sets of family for Christmas Eve and Christmas, if I slept. So make that decision the day it happens. Anyway, have a wonderful holiday, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Ciao. Okay, I forgot to tell you something. So, I talked to you a little while ago about the dietary changes for my animals, and I have actually made some changes, and some of them are feeling much better. So, I have quite a few cats, and they all like different things. And I was feeding mackerel in a can, and I've tried looking for it to be sold fresh, and I still haven't found it. Then I'm still going to keep looking, because I wound up finding a different cold water fish, and not all of them like it. Only 2 of them will eat it, the same 2 that actually like the chicken. I have found at my local grocery store, which you may be able to find as well, organic chicken. And they actually had organic beef there as well, and something else. I didn't even know that they had it there. I thought I'd looked once before and I couldn't find it, and at another store they had something called natural. Well, just because it says natural on it doesn't mean that it's natural and healthy. That's kind of like a misnomer. Anything that says natural on it, just be very wary. So the only way to really know what's going on is when it has the organic label on it. So I did find that, and they like it, and they're eating it raw, which is good, and I think it's helping them out. But not everybody likes it. Only 2 will eat that. So I have been rinsing the fish before, because actually I found out that there's salt in it. I mean, I'm not thrilled about the can, but it does make it a little bit convenient. And, if I mess up and I don't get to the store or something, but they did have added salt in there. I was like, oh, I didn't even notice that. How did I not notice before? I read the label, but apparently I just spaced it, I guess. So read your labels twice. Anyway, too much extra salt in a cat's diet is not good for them. And I did have a cat who had heart problems, and that poor cat had everything wrong with her. It was a disaster. But yeah, she had heart problems, she had kidney failure, and then she wound up having cancer. It was really, really bad. But anyway, so a lot of foods on the market today do have a lot of added salt in them, and that's not good. They also have a lot of added ingredients that aren't good. Even ones that say that they're good, they don't. And it's so difficult to find food. This kind of goes along with us too, like really eating foods that is healthy for you and the environment really is something that's super important, and I'm going to tell you why. Because your health is probably your number one thing that you can do for yourself. We can't really this vessel holds us, it moves us, it allows us to do things, it allows us to experience life. If we can't do that well with our body, we're not doing ourselves a favor. So taking care of our vessel is very, very important. Staying away from things that are not healthy to you also pretty much helps the environment, because most of those things aren't good for the environment either. I mean, GMOs are really horrible, and they are just causing so much pesticides on the land that's getting into our insect population, our waterways, other animals. I mean, it's really not good. Yeah, organic is a little bit more expensive. I don't know how much chicken costs. I never buy it, but it was $3.99 for thighs and legs or whatever. I didn't think that was that pricey for a pound. I don't know. They had chicken breasts, which I bought because they didn't have the other part there, and that was really pricey. That was like $9 a pound. And I thought that was pretty high, but I wanted to see if they would eat it, and they did, so it didn't go to waste. But we're worth it. I mean, don't you think that your health is worth eating something that is not going to make you sick? And I had this conversation with my dad when I stayed with him the last year of his life when he was very ill. He had cancer for many years, and nothing was working. He didn't take care of his body by nurturing himself with the proper foods. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I think maybe things might have worked out a little bit different had he actually gone that route. But he was of the perception that you need to have the cheapest food possible. And my argument always was, if you bought this for 25 cents less than the organic one, and you are really sick, and you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on medical care, and you can't live your life to your fullest, what's that 25 cents worth? Like, to me, feeding the cats high quality food keeps them away from the vet. Vet bills are expensive, and they're just treating stuff that can be prevented by feeding them really well. It's the same thing for ourselves. Feed yourself really well, take care of your mental health, take care of your body, take care of your spiritual side, and you can be healthy. So, and some stuff doesn't cost anything at all. And I've showed you cheap ways to keep some toxins out, and it's all about just being simple. If I save money over here, I can spend more money over here. I mean, I haven't bought shampoo in ages. Baking soda, do you know how cheap baking soda is? You can get a 4-pound box of baking soda for $2. Lasts for quite a while. So now I have the extra money that I can spend on high quality food. So just another tip there for you. Excuse me. And I had spoken to another friend whose dog was not feeling well, and I told her about this book, and they changed the food around, and the dog's doing better. You don't even want to know what's in pet food. It's worse than people food. So if there's any way that you can find high quality food, make your own, see into it, because really, I mean, if you do that for your pet, please do it for yourself. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know it seems like asking people to spend a little bit more on food, but like I said, the bills that happen to you when you have to go to the doctor's office all the time because you're sick, or you now have an autoimmune disease like I do, the cost of that down the road is so much more than the cost of the quality food. I have been adding spirulina to their food, which is something we can have too. It's a blue-green algae, which is awesome, and beet powder, which is fantastic, and they like it. They actually like having that, and I mix it with their food. They get fish, they get water, and I have this dry food that is a turkey based with vegetables in it, and I mix that in there. It's not dry like it's dehydrated dry. And I also have a dry one for the other cat who, it comes from New Zealand, and it's venison, and it's GMO free, and it's, because I have multiple things, and some are not eating this and some are eating that, so I have a variety of foods that they're eating. But and variety is good as long as you don't get their digestive tract too out of whack because of quick changes. But offering different things and having whatever they want to eat seems to be working for them. So anyway, I just wanted to put that in there because I know I had said I was going to let you know how the dietary changes were working. They do recommend pumpkin as a good supplement for cats, and I have not tried that yet. Fish oil is really good for them as well, and I do have that, but sometimes forget to put that in there. But they are eating mackerel, it's got fish oil in it because it's mackerel. So I just need to find a fresh source for that. So a couple more grocery stores I need to look at. So anyway, that was it. Take care of yourselves, take care of your pets. And think about that equation with it just costs a little bit more for the organic stuff, but way less on your health bills. To me, I'd rather spend the money on the food than going to the doctors. Anyway, ciao. Hello, there's one more thing I forgot to talk about. When I was visiting where my friend had her jewelry exhibition, there was a little Etsy, I think it was Etsy sellers, and they all came together in the town in this one location, and they had their wares in there, and it was fun. There were some really beautiful things. I was not doing any Christmas shopping, but had I been Christmas shopping, it would have been a great place to purchase some items because they were local and handcrafted. Now, so we went into one, I've already discussed, you kind of know how I feel about health and beauty aids and the ingredients that are in there and what needs to not be in there in order for me to want to use it. And there was a woman there who had soap. I didn't quite see her label. It was very dark in there. Didn't see the label right, and I went over to her after and I was like, I really appreciate the fact that you don't put palm oil in your soap. And she's like, I do. It is in there. It was actually not written as palm oil. It was written out as the, like the scientific name for palm oil. And I was like, oh. So we had a little conversation about that, and there's two things, the point of what I wanted to talk to you about this, but she was very gracious about the whole thing because I'm sitting there going, how I disagree with the use of palm oil. And she's like, well, I spend 3 times as much as everybody else. I use the really good palm oil, the organic stuff. It costs a fortune, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, there really isn't anything such thing as sustainable palm oil because, and I made my points. Which, if you haven't seen this before, because I have talked about palm oil, but it's destroying habitat in Indonesia, even whether it's sustainable or not, because the land is still being destroyed. And there's pretty soon not going to be a habitat for the orangutans and the animals that live in Indonesia, that there is no other place for them to live. Like, that is where they exist. And they're being killed. And, I mean, it's really horrible. If you have a second, just look it up. And maybe that might be your deciding factor when you read the ingredients of food and your beauty aids, and whether to purchase anything with palm oil in it, because I refuse. I don't want to eat it. Not only is it bad for your health, but I mean, it's just so horrible for the environment, what's going on. I mean, it's devastating. We're going to lose our rainforest if we don't stop this nonsense. So we had a conversation about that, and maybe she'll actually change her mind. She was very open to what I had to say, and she understands the situation. But the good thing was she didn't put any fragrance oils, and we talked about that before. She was all essential oils go into her soaps. And I asked her, like, what's the point of using palm oil anyway? Like, what's such a big deal about it? Even if you're spending 3 times as much, there must be some reason why people want to use it. And she said, because it draws a lather. And I was like, wow, what marketing has done for us in the way of making us buy things. That soap has to have a lather in order for it to work well. Well, that's simply not true. Soap is going to work whether it lathers or not. So it's our perception of what we believe to be a good product. It's kind of like back in the, when they first, now there's this big thing about having imperfections in your fruit. And I think in France they tried this trial, which was great, where they had the bins of they called it the ugly fruit. It was the ones that didn't conform to the perfect model of what we believe our fruits to be. It might have a blemish, it might be of a different size, blah, blah, blah. And they went in the bin and they marked them down and they were sold out. Well, normally that food would get thrown away. And why do we need to throw food away when it's perfectly good? It makes no sense. But that's what marketing has done to us all these years of an apple looks like this, a tomato looks like this, a banana looks just like this. And we forget that there's fruit and vegetables that, if they're not a hybrid, they're going to grow in different ways. And even some hybrids have little disasters that happen. They're not always totally perfect, but they're supposed to be. Sometimes there might be some weird cross-pollination or something that happens. But anyway, the whole point is that we're told we need to have things a certain way. So I'm here to say your soap doesn't need to lather a lot in order for it to actually work. So palm oil is not a good choice. Please read your labels because it's devastating to the environment. And you know what else really sad that she told me? She's like, I go through all this trouble to put all these really good ingredients in there, other than the palm oil that we discussed. And she's like, it's not a big selling factor. And I'm like, how could that not be? For me, I'm recommending to people all the time to not use the fragrance oils, to not use the stuff that's bad for you, to eat, to buy the most natural, simplest things that you possibly can. And it just floors me that that's not something that people seek out yet. So spread the word if you can. I don't even, I don't know. I try not to be like, you need to do this and you need to do that. But really, I think our health the health of us is also dependent on the health of the planet. And so it needs to be a consideration, the whole thing. So please keep that in mind when you purchase things. Let people know. And it doesn't have to be like, you need to do this. But did you know, by the way, this such and such a thing is happening, and let people make their choices. Planting the seed is often better than preaching. So I'm just planting the seed. Have a look, see if that's important to you. It's important to me. That's why I'm sharing it, because a lot of times people don't know. Like, I was with a friend of ours and I was telling her about some things and what's going on, and she had no clue. So the more we can educate people to make the choices that they make, the better off we will be. Okay, so that's it. I am not adding any more. Grazie. Ciao.